Welcome back, you lovely bunch, and thanks for tuning in. I hope you're all doing good. Right, is there anything better than a new bike day? I don't think so. I really can't think of anything better than getting a new bike to ride. Whilst I don't get to keep this bike, I've got to borrow something incredibly awesome for a week, and I'm so stoked. I'm going to grab the bike and I'm going to show you what I'm going to be riding for the next week. I'm so excited. Look at this. Look at this beast of a bike. I'm feeling so lucky. I mean, I have got to point out actually though, before I go through this bike and this amazing build with you guys, so you guys know that I'm not mega comfortable doing these sit at home kind of chatting to you guys vlogs. For some reason I find these so much harder than just going out for a ride, and I think it's because I have to be quite factual. And I mean, look at this bike, there's so much to it and there's so much detail. Like, I mean, getting all the information and the detail into like one vlog, like there's no way I'm not going to miss anything. I mean, I miss something when I'm reviewing a set of wheels or a saddle. So when it comes to such a bespoke build as this, I mean, yeah, probably going to miss something. But anyway, this is the Spoon Customs Izoard RR. Izoard? My pronunciation's awful, you guys know that. It's by Spoon Customs, it's a steel frame, it's kitted out with, oh my god, the most pimped stuff. And I get to take it out for a ride, have a bit of a shred on it over the next week, and then let you know my thoughts on it. Right, so the owner of Spoon Customs, Andy, this is actually his personal bike, and to be lent his very own bike. I mean, one, that shows a load of trust, and two, well, thanks, that shows you believe in the channel, so I really appreciate it. And I know you guys are going to love it, because who doesn't love staring at awesome bikes? So I have actually already ridden this bike. I'm not going to talk about the ride, the feel, you're going to have to tune in for my next vlog for that. What I'm going to tell you about is I'm going to tell you about the build process, what it's made out of, the paint job on it, this awesome, very unique paint job, I must add, the amazing components that are on it, and a little bit about how, if you were to go and buy a custom frame, what you'd be expecting. And you guys know that I love custom frames. Like, I've said it in the vlog before, and there's nothing better than having a bike that is totally tailored to your size, your fit, the way you ride. And that, for me, that's what custom's all about. Let me give you a bit of a closer look at this bike because, oh my god, it's so sick. I just don't know where to start. You know when you stare at something and everything is amazing? I guess we're talking about the frame, so let's look at the frame. So here you go. This is the Spoon Customs Izoard RR road frame. This is actually a size 56, which just happens to be my size. So, as you can see, look at these welds, look. You can't see a thing. It's completely hidden, all the welds. So it's got like this square down tube, which is mega awesome. That gives you a bit of extra stiffness. You've got to love a good head badge. Prise these apart so you can see this awesome logo. Look at that. Mega. You know those bikes that you can just sit and stare at for ages? I think this is one of those bikes. What do you think? So steel tubes are a lot better now than they were years ago. You know, you can make a really strong stiff frame that won't be subject to rust, you know, like the older frames were. You can make them thinner, which essentially means they can be lighter, they're stiffer. So you get a lot of these properties that are more like carbon, and it's less like those old steel frames where they were quite floppy. So if anyone's ridden an old steel frame, like, they're good fun, but they're floppy. They feel floppy. Floppiness is not an issue with Spoon Customs. Nothing but stiffness from Spoon Customs. Oh my god. So this is the good thing about steel though. It does actually, so I think modern steel behaves a lot like carbon. It's really stiff, so when you put the power down, that power transfers there, you know, all the power you're putting through the pedals goes into the back wheel. But if you're like riding on surfaces that are a bit bumpier or a bit less forgiving, like steel does have that like dampening, so it's not going to be as uncomfortable as an aluminium frame. This has like these beautiful like envy parts on it. So there's an envy carbon seat post and a set of envy bars, and these also make a big difference when you're riding over bumpy ground. Right, anyway, back to the frame. I just always go off on a tangent. So, Columbus steel tubing, and with a custom frame, everything is made to your size. So you will go down to Spoon Customs and you'll get a bike fit, and the frame that you're buying will be the perfect size for you. It's tailored for your fit. And all the measurements from your bike fit, that goes into building your frame. So it's not like an off-the-peg frame where you're just getting a 56. You know, they can make little tweaks here and there to geometry, to tube length, to make it really suit your riding style. It can't just be a bike that's really fast, like it needs to be comfortable as well. Like my LA Disc Sprint Specialized thing is incredibly fast. Problem is that when you're on it for like 6-7 hours, it's not comfortable. It's just not, it's really stiff. And This is one of the good things about steel or carbon. You know, it's not exclusive just to steel frames, but I mean, there's something special about that bespoke frame. And honestly, if you're spending a lot of money on a bike, like, why not get a bespoke? Why buy something, I don't know, to me personally, like if you're going to go and buy a specialised tarmac, or I don't know, some other brand, a Trek in Moda or something, and you're going to drop like 10 grand on it, I'd rather spend 10 grand on a bike that's been built to my spec, the way that I want it, painted the way I want it, and with the bits on it that I want on it, you know? And then I know it's going to fit me. It's not just a really expensive off the peg bike. That's just my personal thing. I prefer the custom option. So as you can see, frame, again, digressing massively. But it's important, that's why I'd get a custom. So look, you can see it's all internal cable routed, and it goes all the way through it, and it pops out on the rear stay. Quick chat about components, right? So I've already said you have an NV seat post, NV bars. And obviously I've got a set of Goodyear Eagle F1 tyres on there, and they're on these 60mm deep Campagnolo Bora wheels. So you can see the rear, it's these groups of 3 cluster like spokes. And so I've noticed with some wheels, when they have the spacing in the spokes, that when I sprint, you get a lot of flex and it will touch the brake pads. Not an issue. Like, I haven't gone out and gone full sprint on it, but there's no wheel rub now, for anyone that's wondering if there's a flex in the rear wheel. So it has a full Campagnolo Super Record group set. I mean, there's so much carbon on this. The chain set in itself, I mean, it's Campagnolo, you'd expect this, right? But I mean, it's a work of art. There's just so much carbon and niceness there, like, I love it. And then your rear mech, that is also got a bucket load of carbon on it. So it's a 12-speed group set, so it gives you a good gear range, similar to that of the SRAM Axis. I'm still a bit on the fence, but as a group set, it works amazingly well. This is just, you know, compared to the ones that I'm used to. I think it's more that I'm just not used to using it. But to look at, I mean, when you're having like a custom frame and you're doing a bit of a bespoke build, that chucking Campag Super Record on it is, you know, it's a bit of a flex, isn't it? I mean, there's so much detail and work that's gone into this frame. Oh, the paint job. So gun control paint are part of Spoon Customs, Windy Miller. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. So a quick bit about the company. So Spoon are the steel side, and they do all the nice steel custom, and Windy Miller do all the carbon custom. And then Gun Control Paint do all these beautiful paint jobs. This one actually, in fact, was painted by Coal Coatings, I believe. These butterflies are super clean. And anyone's ever painted anything or tried to paint anything, or a bike frame, etc., will appreciate just how hard and how much detail has gone into this. I mean, these tiny lines, when you're putting on like the stencils, and to get them off with just, I don't know, it's just so perfect, you know. And then the fork, right? So normally when you lay up a stencil, I don't know if you guys are interested in this, but I find this like, I like painting bikes, I find it really interesting. When you lay up a stencil, there's always a joint. It's like when you wallpaper, like you have to get the wallpaper to line up, and that's the same essentially when you're putting a stencil on a bike. So with these butterflies, you can do these all individually, right? So that's not much of an issue. So you'd paint the bike white, I believe, first, and then you'd lay the stencils over the butterflies, and then you'd do your black, and then you'd remove the butterflies. Awesome, looks amazing. You just have to be a bit careful with the tiny lines. And so the tiny lines one, that is like insane how they've done that. But on the fork, it's a wraparound stencil. So they've managed to do the stencil the exact same shape as the fork, and a fork is tapered, and it's flat bladed, and they've managed to do the stencil all the way around, and you literally can't see the joint. I mean, it's just, I don't know, for me, that attention to detail is just mind-blowing. So a lot of you might recognise these butterflies. It's an MC Escher design, and yes, they did have permission to do this. Super awesome, right? I just love it. And I just noticed that I spilled some coffee on there, just riding around casually, dribbling coffee over it. Right, so I've cleaned that off. There's so much information around this actual build and this bike and the whole process that I feel that I can't actually just do it justice. I mean, my vlog would be like 40 minutes long. Because there's so much info, what I was actually thinking is that when I go to drop the bike back off, sad day, that we could sit down with like the owner of Spoon Customs and have a bit of a chat about this bike, this frame, and this is something I want to do more of on this channel. I want to get like more people involved, and I want to talk to brands and brand owners and designers from the UK that are producing these awesome like products. And I have such admiration for like people that are like just going for it on their own. Because you guys know, like, setting up your own thing isn't easy, and I don't know, I just want to show love to all these people that are doing amazing things. So massive thanks to Andy from Spoon Customs for entrusting me with this steed. Apologies if I've missed anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put down below a letter that Andy sent me, all about this frame, all about Spoon Customs. So if you guys are interested, you could read a little bit more about the company, read more about the build process and everything about this. And I'm sure in my next video, I will tell you a bit more about the build and probably do a really bad review. How amazing is this for a bike? I mean, what? So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick look at this bike. There will be a few more vlogs definitely on this bike. If there's any questions you guys want, let me know down in the comments. And stay tuned for the next video where I take this thing out for a shred, and a bit of a spoiler, I love it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all soon. Bye!